my computer.
Two of my favorite guests. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, we got to get the whole painting.
You want to stand it up
in your face. I had a facial yesterday, and so I'm wearing this, sunscreen. I'm shining.
You're glowing. You're glowing. You look gorgeous. You look gorgeous. I finally got my eyebrows done yesterday. Okay, they were a whole bunch up here.
They look lovely. I am telling you, you have to spoil yourself.
You do
this. You gotta spoil yourself. And
you do.
The queen of all skin, Tiffany Lennox.
Come on now.
I told her, I said, let me tell you, I'm laying there, she's working on her face. I said, let me tell you how proud of you I am, okay? Because you did that. How did you end up here? And she was talking and everything. I said, we need you at the table. You understand? Because they don't know what to do with this. And yes, I said, and I want to tell you for all the times, I'm laying on the table, little thing on, for all the times you thought that you didn't belong in the room, let me tell you that you did, because we was all waiting on you. She said at one point, like back then, they weren't talking about, black skin and stuff. I said, because they was waiting for you to get there. They was waiting for you to get there. I said, you might have to tie my hands right now on this table. I said, hey, I'm telling you. We've been waiting on you.
Yes. What a great way to start it out. Taking care of our skin, taking care of ourselves.
That's right.
And showing up where we see a need and being that solution.
That's it. Because
and being that solution.
There won't be a solution until we get there. And that's what the counterculture has to understand. They think that we make everything about race. We don't make everything about race. The truth of the matter is, though, when you don't see yourself, then that's the message to you that you do not belong. And so when you don't see yourself at the bank as the boss of the bank, when you don't see yourself at the Fortune 500 company, when you don't see yourself as at the doctor's office, then the message that sends to you is we don't do that. We do nursing, or we do this and we don't do that. And that's what the counterculture doesn't understand, because they don't know what it looks like.
Right.
Because they're so accustomed to seeing themselves, so there's nothing off limits. And for us, sometimes each one of us has that thing. Each one of us has whatever it is that special music is that God has put in us, and it's going to be you. And when it's your turn to play the music, guess what? It's a solo.
Woo!
It's not going to be a band, it's a solo. And sooner or later, it's going to be all of our turn. It's like, hey, you're up, get in and do that thing that I made and put in you, and only you can do.
Woo.
And until you do, the rest of us are waiting.
Come on
now. We are waiting. We need you to show up.
Woo.
We need you to sometimes you're going to be that lone black girl at the table. Nobody's at the table looking like you, sounding like you, thinking like you. And people will have you be ashamed of what you're bringing to the table. You'll think, I got to look like everybody else when I come take my seat. That is the exact opposite of what we need to happen. You need to look like you, do you, be you, and come on to the table, because the rest of us are waiting. We can't get there till you get there, And so, honey, I was telling that queen yesterday, baby, thank you. I had one facial that was gifted to me, and the lady, she scarred my nose. She scarred my skin.
Wow.
It took weeks for it to heal.
Wow.
And so I'm like, nope, I don't want no facials, But I'm like, I really need facial, and if I can't trust nobody with this beautiful stuff, I can trust Tiffany Lennox, and I'm here to tell you, she took good care of me. I said, girl, I will see you next month.
Come on.
I will see you next month. You better know that.
Right. And bravo for still going out there and getting one, because sometimes after we have a bad experience, it can make us stop and say, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to go down that route anymore. Forget that. But still seeking that right person. That's the same thing we have to do when it comes to our counselors. Sometimes it's not the first counselor we find. It might be after a few counselors. It might be, you know, our esthetician or our hairstylist. We might have to wait till we find that right partner, that right match. But we have to keep seeking it and keep, because we're stronger together. We can't do it all by ourselves.
We're not supposed to. You know, we are built for connection. You know, God made us and built us for connection. He built us to run into each other, to need each other, to need to lean on each other. I'm so thankful for, I tell people all the time, you know, my grandmother, Virginia McGee Dixon, honey, when I tell you she was a whole vibe and a half, you know, and she knew how to control and love on her tribe. You know, her and my grandfather poured into us that we represent, we represent each other, you know, and so don't be out here in the world acting like ain't nobody loved you, you know, and so we have to have each other. I know who I am in Christ. I know who God says I am. I'm learning what he's given to me. And the other thing I'm learning is that everything he created is good. And so that means I'm good. You're good. However it is they bring it, everything he created is good. But I learn more about myself from how I am in your eyes. You know, see, if I feel like if I think I'm an encourager, God gave one of my spiritual gifts is a boundless optimism and encouragement. I don't even know how not to do it. But that means that there have to be people for me to encourage. You know, I can't just take my little light and hide it under a bushel and sit over here like I don't know what's going on. We need each other.
We do.
You know, and I'm thankful for all of the times when I haven't shown up as my best self. You know, that people who love me would say, well, give me grace, and say, well, you know, so that I can do better the next time. See, we all want that, but we don't want to give it to somebody else. You got to give it to somebody else. Yeah, well, she wasn't her best self today, you know, so we'll try it again tomorrow. Let me see what I can do to encourage her.
Yes. Woo! She came in straight with the fire, you guys. We forgot the introduction.
We didn't introduce something.
Fire. Y'all see why we had to have her on the Lit Legacy TV podcast, because she's a lit legend, inspiring us, encouraging us. Welcome back to the Lit Legacy TV podcast. We're in season 2, and we're celebrating Black History Month, and we're celebrating legends. We're celebrating love. I met this beautiful gem. First, I saw her on the news, and then I also saw her at the Woman King premiere, and inspired. She was encouraging us as well then, and my fire was lit. And you know, sometimes we get a little nervous, but I said, you know, I see her, I need to go and speak to her, and I need to have her on the podcast. And I'm so glad that I asked her, and I'm so glad that she was willing to come. Please tell the people a little bit about yourself. You're such an amazing jewel.
Oh, well, hello, everybody. You know, first, let me just say that I've been experiencing massive old lady today. When I tell you the amount of instruction I had to have just to get on IG Live. So I had a lot of help. So before you go out thinking, oh, she's so cool, she knows how to do IG Live. No, I had lots of instruction. So see how we do each other? You know. But I am DesJean Jones. I am so many things. In my professional life, I get to be the Executive Director of OIC of Oklahoma County. We are a school for adult students. We help people level up. And by leveling up, that's getting from here to there. Wherever your here is and wherever your there is, we want to fill that gap in between. We help people to learn how to read, learn English, learn computers so they can get a better job or get a high school diploma or start a business. This is a dream-friendly environment here at OIC. Our mission is to inspire and motivate.
Yes.
We use education and training as the vehicle to do that. Because, you know, sometimes you walk in the door and you come in, we all come in with all the baggage that the rest of the world has laid on us, when they have told us we are nothing, when they have told us we are powerless, when they have told us that we don't count, when they have mistreated us in the streets because they have acted like, if whatever it is I do to you, you are nobody, so it's not going to matter. But see, I tell them, when you come in here, you don't get to believe what the world says about you. I want you to know in here, see, you're powerful and you're awesome. And what I'm going to do, you're going to take my hand and I'm going to show you. I'm going to hold this thing down till you believe me. So thank you for partnering with us at OIC. Girl, don't get me shouting up here about OIC. But I get to do this work every day to be the executive director. People ask me, what do I do for a living? I said, encourage people for a living. That is what I get to do. I am the baby girl, Peyton and Bond Peyton. I am a member of New Hope Baptist Church with Pastor E. Jennings Tyson, the best pastor and the best church. You know? Yes! And I am a minister of the gospel, a licensed minister, and a part of that ministerial team. I am the mother to two beautiful, beautiful children who are grown-ups, and that is a whole conversation on its own, parenting grown folk. But praise the Lord, I'm ready for it. I'm here for them. They don't even know it, but I'm meeting you around the corner. I am a sister. I am a friend, and just really just a goofy girl from Dale City High School.
Woo! We love it. We love it. We see Paula in the house.
Sorry. I left out something so important.
Go
ahead. And a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you very much.
Let them know. Let them know.
No. Like, hey.
I love it. As you see, everything is community. Everything is love. Everything is supporting others. Everything is giving back. And I love it. It's like full alignment, where you work, where you serve, where you give, how you mother, and how all of these kind of different things. What would you tell the people? First, we want to thank the people for joining and the comments. We see Paul in the house. She's amazing. She said she's known you since childhood.
She has. That is my way back in the day. I mean, we have been friends. We have known each other probably 40 years. Oh, no, it's more than 40 years. It's like 45, almost 50 years.
Wow. And y'all both are inspirations, because Paul is the reason that I learned how to use my voice, by sharing my story in the Brilliant Awakening. So it's just like you said, we need each other. It takes all of us. It takes all of us. And it takes us also being vulnerable and sharing ourselves, sharing our stories, sharing our journeys with each other. That is what is so inspiring. And what I want to ask you is, first of all that alignment, that is the dream. Many people want to love what they do, love where they work, have a passion. I mean, we don't get all that kind of passion from people everywhere we go, where you're just so exuding. You're ready to encourage us. You're ready to support us, ready to serve us. How do we find that beautiful alignment? That is
such a wonderful question. I'm going to tell you, it's going to sound so crazy. Embrace the failures. See, we get, I was talking to a mother of some adult children last night, and she was talking about, like they don't call enough and stuff like that. I said, you know what, give them a little bit of grace, because they trying to get it. They trying to get it. And in their experience, see, the modern day young adults, they've seen 20-year-olds that are billionaires. They see this kind of thing happen, so they get sent the message that if you're 25 and you haven't done this, and this, then there's something wrong with you. They get sent the message that they're not allowed to fail. But I am going to tell you, all of this wonderful season of alignment, that God has given me at this time, it's because of the failures in my life. When I left home, I mean, I was a great student in high school, went to Oklahoma State University, and my senior year, like I was just burnt out. I was just tired. And so I decided I would take some time off. Before graduation, I took some time off, and that one semester turned into 14 years. When I tell you the level of shame I experienced in those 14 years, because see, what we don't realize is things that we don't complete will produce shame in us. And we'll hide and we'll avoid and we'll think that we don't have talent because we failed. When I made the decision, when my life was such that I could go back to school to complete my bachelor's degree, when I think about all of the opportunities that I missed because I thought I'm not ready to confess that I don't have my bachelor's degree. And to me, it felt like everybody was looking down on me because I didn't finish that. I remember when I graduated in 2010 with my bachelor's degree, my son and I graduated on the same day. He graduated from high school, I graduated from college. And you know what I realized the very next day after graduation? That I was still a boss, that I was still phenomenal, that I was still beautiful, that I was still brilliant. And so I wondered, where did all that stuff come from? It came from you. It came from you. Because nobody else was holding anything against you.
Oh.
How many times do we think, well, they think I'm, or they think I'm not, or they think, you know, and it puts us in a place where we think we can't fail. So then when we do fail, we hide, we withdraw, and we get distant. Beautiful things God did to me in this work is that he showed me, because I had experienced that academic failure, then he put me in a place where I get to serve and help adults who have to hear, and sometimes for the very first time ever in their lives, they have to say, I dropped out of high school and I need to get my GED. Can you help me? I can absolutely help you. See, I understand where they have been because I know that shame. That's why I can tell them it's not even real. Don't even fall for it. It's not even real. You don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody needs to know that your journey happened this way so that they'll know, well, I can do it too.
Come on.
Come on in the room.
Come on.
You know, and so all of that alignment, I'm so blessed and fortunate that I get to do a work where my personal philosophy lines up with the ministry God gave me and lines up with my personal vocation. And that's transparency. That is transparency. You know, so much of what causes us to feel away is that we think we got to live a lie, and we don't have to live a lie. We can live transparent. You know, because shame is what keeps you from doing it. So that is, you don't get me talking in here.
Y'all better write that down. We can live transparently. We can take our pain and use it for our purpose. Somebody's waiting on that story. Somebody needs to hear that it took time. I myself as well, I just realized I've been out of high school for 20 years now. I graduated in 2003. I was like, oh my gosh, that's 20 years ago. But I too didn't get my degree, my bachelor's degree, until 2018. And I had to take care of my mom, and different life situations happened. So I love that you told that. And I was telling my niece that. She was like, I'm so glad you told me that, Auntie, because our younger generation do believe that failure is not a part of it. They think that, you know, they shouldn't fail. And we're not, that means we're not telling enough of our stories, guys. That means we're not being authentic about our journeys, guys. Especially growing up in the church, I didn't always hear people's, no, we had testimony service. And testimony service was good. That's part of why I love stories. You know, testimony service was good. We would get, especially, we went to church every week, you know, all during the week. So we would hear people's Sunday testimony, their Wednesday testimony, and then what they had an update on Friday. You know, I love testimony service. But we don't have testimony service anymore. We don't have people gathering around and hearing each other's stories like they used to.
And that is so important and so critical to our development, not just emotionally, but spiritually. You know, that if you don't tell anybody, you know, I mean, just for my relationship with God, if you don't tell anybody what God did for you, how will they know that he can do it for them? You know, and the things that he is doing for us every day that we don't even think about. I had a group of women in my office, you know, last week. You know, we were just sitting around talking. I didn't even intend to go into any particular testimony, but I was saying, you know, God just blessed me. I just bought a house in November, and I love it, but I'm still trying to like get on the right bill paying cadence. And so in my little excitement, I like paid up all the utilities, and, you know, and then I had to pay my mortgage. I paid my mortgage and I was broke. I was like, I wanted to stop and get a sandwich and I didn't have no money. And I was just like, how did this happen? I don't even know what I did. You know, and when I tell you, I said, Lord, thank you so much for blessing me for my house. I just, you know, but Lord, I I don't have no money and a paycheck not coming for 2 weeks. I said, Lord, can you bless me with some money? I don't have no money. Thank you. Amen. Like that. Girl, baby, when I tell you somebody called me the next day, text me and said, I got $1,000 for you. I said, praise the Lord. He said, where are you? I said, I'm at home. He said, I'll stop by. Came and brought me a check for $1,000. Then, if that wasn't enough, I happened to be looking in my banking thing, you know, because it went negative because I don't have no money. It went negative. And I'm looking through the mobile check deposit history. I see a check I deposited 2 weeks before, and it said rejected. The bank didn't take the check. So I needed to redeposit the $250 check. I pulled that check out, redeposited it, and the bank accepted the check. I was saying, the Lord done sent me $1,250 just like that. I'm like, you know, don't you tell me. I got to clean my camera because, hold on.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Woo! Okay.
Yes, that looks amazing.
Like, honey, don't tell me he won't come.
Come on now.
We think it only has to be the big stuff. Lord, I done lost. I got grief. I'm racked with grief. Lord, I need some comfort. Lord, I'm about to be homeless. No, it can be the small things. You know, I said one time, like Lord, I put myself on the shopping punishment because I was buying the house. It's like, but Father, I just want a new purse. Can I have a new purse? When I tell you I walked into my job and there was a box sitting on my desk with a purse in it. I said, where does this purse come from? They said, you know, the couple that handles our janitorial stuff came in and bought 7 purses.
Wow.
For the ladies in administration.
Wow.
I said, honey, don't tell me.
Wow.
You know, and how often are we just holding on to something, thinking that our hands have to fix it, instead of, number one, let the Lord do it. Just invite him into it. But I want to say, number two, we are carrying around old feelings and old traumas and stuff like that, and we won't get into nobody's counseling. You know, I'm going to tell you, you know, praying harder is not a substitute for counseling. You know, going to counseling, getting in therapy is not a violation of our covenant with Jesus Christ. It is not.
No.
And it is God's desire that we would all be healthy, that we would all be able to live. He came to give us life and it more abundantly.
Yes.
Abundant life. That's more than you need. That's life. You know, like verily, verily. That's like 2 times the fun. And so we're supposed to live. How can we do that if we hold on to old stuff? You know, and I say it like I'm not holding on into old stuff. But I remember in 2015, started a new job, went to grad school, and was in the midst of a divorce and had to move. Mm-hmm. When I tell you, I barely remember those 2 years. But me, the Lord, and my therapist did the work. You know, I think in the Black community, sometimes we act like like if we're in therapy, that means we don't have no friends. No, that's not what that means. No, but I have learned the merits of paying somebody to help me figure out my stuff, because then they make it about me. And when you tell people that you love, well, you know, I was going through this thing and this thing happened, they think about them. Oh my goodness, why didn't you tell me? I would have had no. It's not about you. I don't need you to go fight them for me. You know, like see, my mama is, honey, 5'2" and 120 pounds of straight fire. And if you do something to mess with me, you got yourself a problem. Okay? You will be dead to her. She will come for you. But see, I can't, you know, if I want to tell her some stuff, she want to go get it. No. I'm trying to heal. And so that's what a therapist is for. He is amazing.
Right. Give you that tools to move those emotions out of your body, to talk it through. And I didn't even realize until I started going to therapy that I needed to talk so much. It took probably about a year before I finally said, you know, I don't think I have anything to talk about today. You know, it's like it took a long time. I had so much that I wasn't releasing fully, and therapy is life changing. It's like it's as important as those facials, as good as those all that other self-care. You said so many really, really great things. I would say too, what would you say to those people who are hiding? You know, you were talking about hiding that shame. They're sitting in that shame. You know, what would we say to them? You know, they might be watching this interview. They're sitting in that shame. They might have a dream in their heart. They might have a business. They might not have a degree. I love how you say they start where they currently are. But what would you say to them as that first step that they would want to take?
You know, I think that the worst emotion that we can experience is regret. You know, people think, you know, guilt, sadness, shame, you know, all of those things. And all of those things, I mean, they are not productive. But the worst one is regret. Because what regret means is that we had a chance and we didn't take it. Yeah. And so when we, you know, when you sit up and there's a dream in you that you want to birth, but you won't get started because you're afraid of what they're going to think, or afraid of what they're going to say, or afraid to fail. When we all get to the end of this part of the journey, I don't want to look back and wish I had done more. And if there's, you know, what we have to understand, what we have to learn is there is no wrong door to living. So live. There is no wrong door. If you loved him and you thought he was the one and you poured out your heart on him and it didn't work out, you will be okay. Yes. Because you came authentically and you loved them full force. Yes. If that was not reciprocated or it did not work, you will live through it. Yes. That's better than, well, you know, I really liked him. I think we could have been something special, but I was scared to share myself with someone I didn't. You know, and we'll all have a deathbed season. And I don't want to look back and wished I had told them, man, I really love you. I really dig you. You know, I really appreciate you. I was at a women's conference last week, and it was an amazing conference by Life Restoration Center. And in the middle of it, I texted my mother, and I told her, I really want to thank you for the kind of woman you've been. You have been an amazing mother. All that we needed at every season of our lives. I recognize that not everybody gets that. You know, you know, what I can tell you, you know, my mother her and my best friend, they the keeper of all my secrets. You can't tell her nothing about none of us, none of her kids, that she don't already know. Because we tell her. And being a mother myself, you know, it's hard to always feel like you're doing the right thing. But I wanted her to know in that moment that, let me tell you, you did everything right. Everything. I watched her grow up in front of us while we were growing up. And I told her, you are the epitome of women everywhere, girl. And I love you. You know, because I don't want her to ever know or not know that that's exactly how I feel, you know.
Yeah.
And she's amazing. And so we have to tell people, we have to start the thing, we have to venture out, we have to have some boldness, you know. Speaking of Paula, you know, I had been doing this texting ministry for probably 9 years. Paula, sometimes she would get on me, she would call me or text me and say, when are you going to publish this book? Oh, you know, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You know, and finally she texted me and she said, look, I'm sick of you. You need to publish this book. I said, okay, I'm gonna call you in a minute. and we published, you know, she helped me publish Text Messages from Heaven, Be Still and Know.
Woo!
And it's text messages that the Holy Spirit would give me, and I would send every Tuesday, and I still send them every Tuesday, you know, to probably 900 people in my phone.
Wow. Wow. And where can we get this book? Where can we get this Text Messages from Heaven, Be Still and Know?
Well, hold on. Text Messages from Heaven.
Wow. Make sure you guys go get this. I got to get this book. That is so awesome.
It is available on Amazon, on barnesandnoble.com, and also on lulu.com. Text Messages.
Yes.
This is volume 1. It will be turning it into an audio book in the next few months. And then already started working on volume 2 to publish at the end of the year.
Woo! So good. So amazing. Using your voice, communicating, speaking, giving your heart a voice, allowing your heart to say what it feels is so powerful.
So powerful.
So life-changing. It's the only reason that I'm able to even have a podcast, to even be able to say, I want to talk to people, and conversations matter and communications matter, because it changed my life. Sharing my story, the Brilliant Awakening, that same kind of thing. I was in the middle of the fight. She said, but you need to share your story. You need to share your story. And, you know, I was like thinking, okay, I got to wait till it ends. But then I realized every day I wake up, it's going to keep adding to the story. It's always going to be progressing. So I had a question. This is a great question for you as well, too. We had a question. A viewer had a question about journaling. They said, you know, they want to journal, and I think journaling and writing and using your voice, however you communicate, is important. Huge, important. And they wanted to know, where would they begin? What would they want to write in their journal? What should they be keeping up with?
Oh, I love that question, because I have been a chronic journaler since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
You know, every time I move, you know, I always have a bookshelf, you know, and I have journals that really chronicle my life. You know, and every time I fell in love, they got their own book. I just want to say they got their own book.
Now, did you put, when you picked the journal, when you picked the book, did it have to say something specific on the front of the book? Is that how you know, like, okay, this is their book, or is it just, it doesn't matter what the journal looks like?
That part just worked how it worked. You know, people who know me, people always give me journals and stuff like that. And I love paper. And if you put it in a book, oh man, you talking about, that's Christmas time for me. That is Christmas. And so it always just kind of worked a certain way that, like, you know, like this book. I remember when I was going through my divorce, you know, I had about 4 empty journals, and I went to the bookshelf to pick one. And there was one that had a scripture on it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And on the front of it was the cover of a beautiful Black queen. And she was on one knee, like she just been gut punched by life, you know, and she just fell down and was just, but still trying to hold on. I said, that's the one. And that's the book I used for that. You know, journaling, for, you know, even if you are not a writer, you know, here's what I want to say. What journaling always helped me do was whenever I was experiencing extreme emotion, whether that was heartache, heartbreak, brokenness, confusion, or even extreme joy and celebration, I always went to my journal. What I discovered was, particularly when, you know, when there is something that has happened to you, somebody has broken your heart, for example, that trauma, if you imagine that trauma as a little steel ball, like in a pinball machine, and it's just in there, tearing stuff up, it's just in there. And when I would go to my journal with the intention, like I want to remember this emotion, because I want to be able to document, like, when I come out of it. And every time I ever started writing that out, that problem got smaller. The problem got smaller when I started really putting in the details, because I feel so full with it. And it's like, oh yeah, I got to get all of this out. And in my mind, this feels like this is going to go on for 4 or 5 pages. But, you know, after 2 pages, I'm like, what is that it? Go. Well, I guess that's it. You know, and that problem got smaller. And that was the beauty of being able to, you know, just because, see, we have to get it out. You know, our bodies are part of the reason that, you know, when we get sick, you know, when, you know, whether it's, you know, I mean, there's so many autoimmune disorders that are triggered by stress. And it's because our bodies are not built for stress. They're not built for trauma. And so when we have all of that stuff happening in there, we're not supposed to hold on to it. You got to get it out. And journaling is a great way of vomiting. You know, let's just vomit all of it out. And, you know, so as to the question of how do you get started? What do I write? I write in my journal with the presumption that nobody else is ever going to read it, because in as much as it is purging and all of that, it's also an exercise in authenticity. If you can't be honest with you, then who can you be honest with? And so you can't be writing in your journal like your little brother gonna sneak in here and find it. You can't be putting lies in your journal, you know, about stuff. You got to come raw, uncut, and full-fledged in the journal.
Wow.
In the journal. Now my bestie has some real specific instructions. Bestie, you know, if something happened to me, you get here, and no matter what, you get this gold book. see the gold book. Like, get the gold book. You know, I've shown her, like, see the gold one. You see, get this one. Get it off the shelf. Like my son don't need to find it. Get the gold book. Get it out of here. You know, so,
I love it. I love it. And the gold book, it represents also the golden nuggets that you find in discovering yourself. The gold, the richness, the treasure that is in there. When you take, I say that it's joy in the journal. You know, don't go in there thinking it's going to be sad. It's so much joy. And like you said, it's a chronological, document.
Yeah,
all
of your growth and healing.
Your growth and healing. It's like you said, and I love what you said. I want to document when I come out. I want to see. I started right here, and I want to see God. He didn't even take a whole year. Before 3 months was over, I was done with that.
Done with it. I was, you know,
I
like,
was
Lord, how did you
forward
turn
from
that around?
He
How
turned
did
it
you turn that
around.
around?
And it helps you get clarity on what you're praying for as well, too. It helps you get clear. It also makes it clear, what is he doing in my life
That's
right now? When you go back and look at those things, writing and reflecting, when you go back, I see, like they say on the comm app, you have those, oh, I see why that happened.
That part, I see why that happened.
I see why that
why
happened.
he said no to that. You know, when I thought that was like, how will I live? Because you said no to this. But I see now why you said no to that. Because if you had given me that, I would never have got to this season right here. You know, and it makes the experience of this journey so real. The one thing I've never been able to do to myself is to lie with the stroke of a pen. Yeah, I lie to myself in the mirror, you know. But I've never been able to lie to myself with a pen, because when I start writing, it's like that is my subconscious put down there, you know. I sometimes I've tried to make a thing feel like it was better than it was. The pen won't even let me lie. Won't even let me lie, you know. And so, you know, the journaling, it's not even for anybody else. It's the truth telling of your soul.
Yes.
Because it's so that you're telling yourself the truth. And it has a wonderful and amazing grounding influence. You know, helps to keep me humble. And it helps tether me to, you know, those earlier experiences. I'm so thankful. I remember who I was. You know, I remember who I was. Not a bad person, just different. But that's how I can appreciate the experience of this season, because I know where God brought me from.
Woo! So fired, guys. We could keep her on here all day, all night. Yes! Keep her in our ear. You know, we have the book. I want y'all to make sure you support the book. And I also want you to tell them how they can get connected with OIC. That's so amazing what you guys are doing for businesses, what you're doing for people, teaching them all kinds of skills. There's one excuse that we can let go of. We have a resource that we can be connected to. And I plan to use it, and I hope you plan to use it as well. Let them know how to get connected.
Absolutely. You know, it's OIC of Oklahoma County. We are located here in Oklahoma City, over by the state capitol, right on the corner of Northeast 30th and Walnut. Our address is 3033 North Walnut Avenue. We are building east. You can find our website at oicokc.org. We are available on LinkedIn. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, OIC OKC. And I want to tell you, maybe you have already graduated from high school, and so you're thinking, well, I mean, I don't need their services. But you still have something you're trying to figure out. You know, God's word says iron sharpens iron. And I want you to know we are building full of iron over here. If you're trying to figure something out, I need to be able to change jobs, but I'm not sure what I'm meant to do. I want to be in some work of purpose. Can you help me figure out what that is? That is exactly what we do. We have our Exit to Success class, you know, to help you figure out how can I experience that same alignment, because we are all here to carry out a particular work and purpose. And here at OIC, we are a place of inspiration, and we want to help everybody get to the place where they ought to be.
I love it. I love it. So beautiful, so amazing. You know, we love that. That's what we are all about here at Lit Legacy TV, is highlighting love intentionally today. That's what lit means, to love intentionally today. And if we're loving what we're doing, if we're loving ourselves, if we're loving everyone around us, I don't see how these problems is going to keep showing up in the world if we're all taking care of ourselves properly.
They can't.
they can't keep showing up in the world. So that means somewhere there's a deficiency in love, and we want to make sure we shine bright light on love. We want to make sure we let people know where the beacons of light are, where the hope is. We want to let you know you're welcome to it. We want to let you know you're not in this by yourself. And we want you to know that people are waiting for your dreams. They're waiting for your desires. Your legacy matters. Your legacy matters. So it matters. I hope you document the journey, whether you're going live and telling the people on your phone, whether you're writing it in your journal, whether you're painting it out like that amazing art behind her, whether you're singing it out.
Everything. I keep this painting right here. It is by Sonny Rice. I keep it right here in your face, because when I have business calls and Zoom calls and all of that, you know, sometimes I'm the only face that looks like mine on there. I want them to understand that I'm proud of all of this. I'm happy for all of this. You cannot make me ashamed. I've earned this seat at the table. Now let's get this work. Let's get this work. Come on. Let's get this work.
You better get this work. Just like they said, Rihanna said, you better work. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to have you back again. You've been such an inspiration, and we can't wait to do more and be of more service and hear what's going on, because I'm just super excited. We want to serve the community, and it's all about our legacies. It's like, that's what it's all about. Don't forget, you know. Any final word
for letting me be with you on today, Shannon. When I met you, I'm like, oh shit, whatever it is you want me to do, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm so proud of you. This is wonderful and amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To God be the glory for helping us find our voices, helping us walk in our voices, use our voices every day, stand in our power, stand in our purpose, know who we are, show up for the people. And I'll tell you this too. Sometimes everything might not go as you want it, but still show up anyway. I did one interview, still show up anyway. I did one interview. I was at the lake. We were doing it outside, and my shoes literally melted in the dirt. Like, my shoes started sinking in the dirt. I just started, it was wet. But guess what? We still did the interview in the mud and we went on. So no, it might be cloudy, it might be dirty, but guess what? It makes the story juicier. It makes it more fun. It's just a part of it. It doesn't stop anything. Just know, well, that's going to make the testimony that much more exciting, because we had this hiccup over here. We had this problem over there, but we're still going.
That is the place where God does his best work. You know, when things don't work out the way we thought they would, that's where God does his best work. And so I've seen it happen time and time again. Just show up. Just show up. That's our show up.
Show up. The replay will be here. Y'all can watch the replay here. You can listen to the audio on Apple, Spotify, and all your favorite podcast platforms. And we will be also adding this replay to our YouTube. So subscribe to the Lit Legacy TV YouTube as well. And go out there and love more intentionally today, tomorrow, and the day after that. And do it again the day after that, too.
Do it again. And do it again. And do it again.
And do it again.
And do it again.
And do it again. And do it again.
That's it.
Thank you so very much for all of this love. You're a legend. We love you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Until next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Say you're now live, so you can see the circle going. Hi, guys. We are live. Welcome on in.
Okay.
Do you see the plus, the camera?